Welcome to Watches with Dennis, and today I'm reviewing the Seiko 5 Sports 55th Anniversary Limited Edition, reference SRPK17. This watch is from my personal collection. It was a gift in new condition, and I've owned it about a week at this point. The Seiko 5 line was created in 1968, and the SRPK17 is Seiko's recreation of that first 1968 model. So, with the history out of the way, let's go ahead and take some measurements. For diameter, I'm getting 39.4 millimeters. For lug-to-lug, I'm getting 43 millimeters. For watch thickness, I'm getting 12.5 millimeters. And I'm getting 20 millimeters as the lug width. This watch offers 100 meters of water resistance. The SRPK17 overall is an extremely faithful recreation of the original 1968 model. The case is in a cushion format with scalloped edging towards the 12 o'clock and the 6 o'clock positions. The bezel is fully graduated, it's bidirectional, and it is a friction fit format. Originally, I was very concerned about the friction fit action because my only experience with such a bezel was from Vostok, which provided a very rough and somewhat difficult to turn bezel. Here, the bezel actually turns like butter, and the bigger issue is that it is relatively easy to bump the bezel out of its desired position. The pip on the bezel is loomed. The SRPK17 has a black dial and features lume at all of the hour markers except in the 3 o'clock position where there is no hour marker and instead is the day and date complications. Both of those discs are color matched to the black dial. The hour and minute hands are baton style and loomed. The seconds hand is also loomed and is red and in a lollipop configuration. The original Seiko 5 logo appears beneath the 12 o'clock position. Towards the 6 o'clock position, the word sports appears in blue, followed by a subdued silver text regarding the watch's automatic status, its joule count, and its water resistance. The dial is protected by a hardlex crystal. Given the watch is loomed, here is some lume footage of the watch in its freshly charged state. The watch is made out of stainless steel, as is the bracelet. As the watch is itself, the bracelet is also inspired by the original 1968 style, and it is for the better in this instance. It wears surprisingly well and feels notably superior in quality to the usual 3-link bracelet Seiko likes to use today at this price point. Due to how it bends, it does wear chunky though, which combined with the watch's thickness may make this stand up too high for some people, particularly since the rest of the watch's proportions are quite modest. To me, this doesn't feel top-heavy, and I have not had issues even wearing it with long-sleeve shirts. The crown is unsigned and is at the 4 o'clock position, and it offers 3 positions. In position 0, the crown is all the way into the watch, providing the maximum water resistance, and you can turn the crown in order to wind the movement at that point. If you pull the crown out into position 1, if you go clockwise, you will change the day. You can see that it alternates between Spanish and English. And then if you go counterclockwise, you can quick set the date function itself. Pulling the crown out again puts it into position 2. The watch is now hacking, and you are able to set the time on the watch. Push it back in, and everything starts running again. Flipping this watch over, you can see that the watch features a closed case back, and it has information relating to this being a limited edition model. This watch is driven by the 4R36 caliber movement. This is an automatic in-house movement by Seiko. It beats at 3 Hz, has 24 joules, and offers approximately 41 hours of power reserve. Putting this watch on my time grapher, I ended up getting an average across all 6 positions of 1.2 seconds per day. The range was quite broad, however, with the extremes being -6 seconds per day up to +15 seconds per day. But all of those are well within the movement's stated accuracy range of -35 to +45 seconds per day. Here's a shot of the watch on my 6.75-inch wrist. Doing some angles here, you can see there is some gapping with how the links articulate on this bracelet, and hence why it feels both comfortable, but it also wears a little chunky because of this extra gapping that happens with how these bend. They don't bend as far as a lot of the 3-link bracelets will, which you'll notice when I put the watch down later at the end of the video for how it will have to sit for display purposes. But overall, it is a very comfortable experience to wear this watch. So, what are my overall thoughts on this watch? I would say 3 main positives are it offers some cool retro vibes. For the price bracket in particular, this is a surprisingly nice bracelet, and the bezel has very smooth action. And 3 negatives would be the crown is hard to manipulate, it's very easy to knock the bezel out of your timing position, and the choice to just use hard Lex instead of a sapphire crystal for the dial. Seiko limited this watch to 15,555 units, and at the time of this video lists the watch at $415 retail. These are readily available new, even today, thanks to the huge limited run, and you can find them new lower than the MSRP. Two of my main gripes about the watch are the bezel and the crown. The bezel feels great to handle, just be aware that it doesn't take a lot of force to actually brush up on that bezel and move it out of position. For most circumstances, this is not going to be a big deal, but I want to list it as a key FYI if you're planning to time something important. The crown is a bigger frustration. Again, Seiko decided to be very faithful to the original watch, but this crown is small and it is difficult to manipulate. It is so recessed that winding the watch is even a chore to do, as it does not pop out to wind since this is not a screw-down crown. I think they made the right decision overall given what they were trying to accomplish with this watch, but this is one of the worst crown experiences I have ever seen out of modern Seiko, so be aware of that. All the rest of this watch, by and large, is a positive for me. I really need to highlight the bracelet. I am so used to garbage tier bracelets from brands in this price bracket, and my experience with Seiko has been disappointing up until this bracelet. It doesn't let the watch lie flat in a way I prefer on the wrist, and likewise you'll kind of notice how I've had to angle it here to try and get it to display properly for the camera, but it lifts higher than other designs would allow. That actually allows the watch to wear very comfortably, but it does add a bit to the chunky factor. It's definitely worth trying out if you could get the opportunity to see if you would like the bracelet, but comparably, I think it's very well done, and it's the best bracelet I can think of in this sort of sub $500 price bracket that I've experienced. It was also really nice to feel a well-done friction fit bezel that is silent and fun to play with, but overall, this watch just looks so distinct compared to the rest of the modern Seiko 5 catalog. I think it really just resonates on a variety of fronts for me. I really enjoy its small size. I like the subtle use of color that it has and how muted the watch overall is. And not to mention that for under $500, you're actually getting a watch that isn't a white dial watch with color-matched date and day discs. This watch just oozes charm, and if you like smaller watches, I think this is definitely one you should take a look at. Given its overall understated nature and the 100 meters of water resistance, this actually would make for an excellent daily watch. And so if by chance you've stumbled on this video and are thinking about a one and done sort of watch and you don't want to spend a tremendous amount of money, definitely take a consideration about this one because it would check a lot of boxes, I think. Thanks for watching this review video. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a like as it helps the channel out. Subscribe if you'd like to be automatically notified when I release new videos. Thank you for watching and have a great day.